Alright, this piece is called Touching My Soul. It's titled Touching My Soul. I struggle to tell you sometimes about the scars I cover up with beautiful clothes and flawless smiles. I struggle to tell you why you could be so close and yet it feels like miles. But let me try to put this into words and explain what I imply. Last night I dreamt of your touch. I dreamt you stirred my soul when you swelled your fingers on my chest close to my heart. I dreamt you sealed all the cracks to my heart when you placed your hand on my chest. I dreamt that your lips had happiness in them, and you fed it to my soul when you placed them on mine. Then you came over. I stared into your eyes and my body moved closer to yours. Because even the spaces between our bodies, when we're closer, feel like miles. When you sat on my waist and looked in my eyes, you saw everything. You opened my heart, put the pieces together that were ripped apart. Sometimes I tell you that you need to be here for me to be open. I feel like you don't understand how your fingers are the key to unlock to unlock all the traumas God placed on my heart. You're the one I can speak to. So when I tell you that I miss you, that I want you, I'm simply asking you to touch me so that my soul can find peace and my body can function.
Hey.
But anyway, LJ, you got it.
Yes, indeed. What's good, everybody? We're back with another season of Underground with the Unbounds. This is season 3, and I am LJ, your host. And on the first episode, we're opening up with wordsmith Geoff. Geoff, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm doing good.
Yeah.
I've been okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, man. Can you give us a little peek into your being?
Into my being.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I'm a calm person.
Yeah.
That's the biggest part of my demeanor. I really get angry, really have an outburst. My emotions are probably, I could say, in check. Yeah. But otherwise, that's the biggest part of my demeanor. Everything else is around that. So calm is peaceful, calm is kind, calm is all that. Loving, caring. But the base of that demeanor or that being is calmness. And that's me. That's who I am.
Cool.
Yeah.
And what does Geoff do?
Geoffrey is a poet.
Yeah.
Geoffrey's a poet, but he's also a student studying biology.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm a poet. Been a poet for a while. Since I was a kid, actually. Since I was 8.
Yeah.
But I only started writing for people when I was 14.
You were born for this.
Yeah. Yes, I was.
You say write for people.
Yeah, write for people.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was 8, I was writing, but like it was nursery rhymes. It felt like it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and then like I wouldn't give anyone poetry or poems unless I was like had a crush on a girl or something like that.
Yeah.
But like as I grew older and like things came into play and I realized that life isn't always easy, and I kind of started like writing for different reasons, and I started writing so that people could relate and realize that like, you know, you're not alone in everything that goes through in your life, and you have someone.
Yeah.
And someone relates to your problem, so it's better to talk to someone than to take any drastic actions or anything of that sort.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Now you describe yourself as a love poet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you break that down?
I have no idea how you know that.
Yeah.
That is a new thing.
Yeah.
But it's Geoffrey the Poet, or AKA the Love Poet.
Yeah.
It's a new title. I was talking to someone and they said they read my poems and I was like, which one's your favorite? And I asked them, which one's your favorite? And they were like, I don't know. All of them. You seem more of a love poet. And then as time went, I started hearing that a lot more. So it became, okay, you're the love poet. You're the love poet. And I was writing more of love poems than anything else. And people loved more of my love poems than every other. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, everyone wants to be loved, I guess. So the poems were a way of people would feel loved or feel what it's like to be in love. So yeah, and then Geoffrey the Love Poet came up. Or Love Poet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Now you wrote something
quite profound on your Insta that I came across. And I want to quote it. I want to read it as you wrote it.
Okay.
It says, "To find peace is all we ever strive for. It's in the whole point of how we live, although we never see it. That is why we never cherish peace or how it feels. Why sometimes being alone translates to being lonely. However, when we do realize we need peace, it's a war to attain it. That's the irony of things. Attaining it, though, is simply heaven. It is feeling the God in yourself rise in everything that you attempt to do." Firstly, how has your journey been in the process of attaining that peace?
It's been rough, man.
Yeah.
You know how people would look at you and you have this demeanor and it's like charismatic, loving, caring, and then people are like, well, it's a result of like a good upbringing or like stuff like that, hey?
Yeah.
But I don't think you know, I think I've had my problems, and I think when I've seen things like that happen to me, I've never wanted to see them happen to everyone else. And so I didn't want to be a person who continues a cycle, a person who, like, you know, when you insult someone, they feel bad about themselves, they insult someone else. It's the life of insecurity.
True.
You know, it's like that, and you take away someone's peace by doing certain things like that. So for me, it's always been like, okay, but you don't want to be this person. You know, you see people all the time and you see how it affects other people, so you don't want to be the person that continues everything. And I started to look at myself and look inwards, and I used to have a lot of time to introspect, so I would look inwards and try to figure out how I could better myself, how I could make myself a more open person, how I could make people feel better about themselves. And with time, when I was working on it, I grew an aura, and people would talk to me and people would feel like, you know, you're the best person to talk to. And yeah, but the journey wasn't easy, I'm not gonna lie to you. It wasn't easy. There are some things where you think to yourself, how am I gonna change this? And you realize that it's inbuilt in that moment. It's how you were raised, it's how you think, so it's how you act. You know? So it's always going to be like that until you try to build a different habit.
True.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you also liken the whole process to that of war, right?
Yeah.
Is there a difference between peace and freedom? Assuming that we're mainly speaking about inner peace.
For assuming inner peace.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing. I think it's the same thing, okay? Because you, one, can never attain true freedom. You're always bound to something. There's always something that you have to adjust to. If you're absolutely free and you have all the money in the world, you want to fall in love, you know? And love is restricting to some extent, you know? There is something, you always have to cater to someone, you always have to do something, and you can't work to your full extent when you do certain things, you know? Yes, you have certain limits to what you can do. Even interacting with another human, you have a limit to how you can do it if you are with someone else, you know? So I feel like since you can never attain freedom like that too, with peace you can never attain that, because there's always something new coming up. With inner peace, there's always something that you find out that, oh my god, this is actually really bad, you know? You think to yourself, okay, I think I'm a peaceful person, I'm a good person, and I found inner peace. And you realize, no, you haven't. You're still worried about that tomorrow. You're still worried about what you need to do tomorrow, what you're gonna eat, how you're gonna live. You're worried about your health. You get sick, you're worried about, you know, there's always something. So inner peace is not attainable, and that's why I think people say ignorance is bliss. Because it's better to sometimes ignore certain things, you know, like tomorrow, worry about tomorrow, figure out today and live through today. You know, some people don't get to see today, so appreciate it, live through it, and that's the best way you can find inner peace.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And what is your take on unconditional love?
I think it does not exist. A lot of people would bash me for this, but I personally think it does not exist. I think everyone's love is conditional. It is conditional because We live in a world where people have been affected by different things. We live in a world where people were raised differently, you know, and they have some really bad habits. I personally know I have some really bad habits. So sometimes it's hard to tolerate. Sometimes it's hard to sit there and watch somebody do the worst things to you and think to yourself, well, I love this person, so I'm gonna stay. You know, it might be easy the first 4 or 5 times they do it, but like after that, you realize that I'm taking from myself more than I am giving or getting, you know. So you realize that unconditional love is really not a thing that's there. Every love is conditional. I mean, I guess some people love to the closeness of unconditional love. You know, it's like, well, you don't have the condition that could result in us breaking up, so I'm here with you right now. And I'm gonna be with you. But like unconditional love is not really a thing. If tomorrow I start doing something and it doesn't work for you, you're gonna leave. So I feel like unconditional love is not a real thing.
Okay. Now let's apply that to your craft, your poetry, right? I wanna apply that to your poetry. Do you feel like unconditional love doesn't exist when you relate it to the type of work that you do?
Yeah. When I write, I also try to show the flaws in love a lot, you know, and you realize that my poetry stems from my experiences. So sometimes in my life things happen and I realize, oh, so it's really like that, you know, people can be like that, you know, or like I can be like that. And I write from my experiences, and in my experiences I realized that love isn't always unconditional, and it always isn't true. You know, some people would cling on to you for the image, some people would cling on to you for the money, cling on to you how you look, you know, and cling on to you because of that only, you know. There should be something bigger that you want in someone if you're gonna say you want someone like that. But my poetry, I feel like, no, it's really, it depicts, you know, how love it really is.
Because I get you, I get what you're saying, but I was talking more in terms of like you have devotion, you're sort of like devoted to poetry, right? So to some extent there's unconditional love there
for poetry.
I
don't think so. I neglect poetry sometimes. I do. There was a time I went about a year without writing anything. So it wasn't really unconditional love, you know. If it's unconditional, I'll be there every time trying to make sure everything is right. But like sometimes I leave. And sometimes poetry does take a lot out of you. You battle demons to write. It's not easy. It really isn't. So sometimes it's hard to love your craft. It's hard to love what you write. There are times when I've been like, okay, I'm gonna write this book and I'm gonna publish it, and I never actually do because of the demons that I'm battling. And sometimes poetry feels like you're just giving yourself to people. So yeah, I think I can't say I love poetry unconditionally. I think there are conditions. You know, and when those conditions start to show themselves, I walk away for like whatever time I can walk away.
It's funny, I read something the other day that said that a good story, what makes a good story is emotional honesty. So as you're speaking right now, I see how that comes into play. And how also that can take a lot out of you. As I said, poetry is like giving yourself to someone. Can you imagine like going through something in your life and you go write it down and show it to people? Like some people would just read it and be like, psh, what? You know? So like it is, I think it is being honest with yourself and looking inwards at what you're most afraid of and writing about it. And it's scary sometimes, hey? It is. That's why sometimes I take a long time without writing. And a lot of people would ask me, Geoffrey, why haven't you written before? Why are you taking so long to write? With the book? And I'm like, guys, it really isn't that easy. You don't just sit and try to find inspiration. Like sometimes when you're writing and the pen is hitting the paper, so are your tears. So it's not easy. True. Okay. Personally, I feel that neither peace nor freedom can exist without love as the foundation.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Oh,
That is true. And that's why my main focus in my poetry is love, because it's abundant and you find it in everything.
yeah.
You know, you love material things, you love people, you love dogs, your house, everything. So when I can do that and I can find inspiration in something,
Yeah.
it makes me be able to write most of the time. So that's why I chose love, because it is the foundation of a lot of our being and what we do.
True.
Yeah.
True. Two things that I've picked up, right, with regards to your work, is that you speak a lot about water, about darkness, right? Which is interesting because the ancients talked about how space is the triple darkness, right? And they also talked about the primordial waters of the sky, right? So it's almost like one and the same thing when you think about it. But yeah, what is it about water and darkness that fascinates you so much?
I live by the river. Well, I used to. Now I moved in Maum. And if you've been on a boat cruise or like a canoe ride, it's hella therapeutic. If you stop thinking about falling in the water and dying, it's hella therapeutic. So like you find yourself just like, if you're on the water, it's still like no movement at all. And the movement that you get in the water is like waves. It's like it's adjusting to the movement of the boat or the canoe. So it's really like wonderful. And for me, I've always felt like that's how my writing is, adjusting to like how everything is. And for darkness, it's a depiction of evil, or a depiction of being lost. You know, when it's dark, obviously sometimes you look around with your hands and try to find things. So that's the closest depiction of sort of being lost or darkness that I can find for me.
Okay, and they say still waters run deep in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So if it wasn't poetry, it would be singing?
Yes, although I'm not very much of a good singer.
Yeah, you've said that before.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not that much of a good singer. I've heard people say, you should sing, but I don't think I'm that good. Not at all.
Why so?
Okay, I think I don't think I'm good is kind of an insecurity. I'm not that good though. I feel like I'm not that good.
Yeah.
It's an insecurity because sometimes I sing to myself, maybe in a bathroom or something, and people will be like, no, don't do that again. So I don't think singing would work. It was poetry, probably would be story writing too. I write very good stories, but like I stopped writing stories ages back because I felt like they didn't depict what I wanted. And I don't have a story to tell in like paragraphs and long stuff. So I think poetry was the best way out for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you sometimes struggle with owning the title of poet?
No. I think that's probably my favorite title. People sometimes call me Mr. Poet when they don't know my name. So I love it. I absolutely love it. The problem comes with people asking me to write or recite, because sometimes I can't recite on the spot and sometimes writing comes hard. But I love the title of being called a poet. I love also what it entails, the benefits. But the ease. Don't tell my girlfriend.
Is there any title that you struggle with owning?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't.
Okay.
But Love Poet was kind of difficult to accept because I don't think my poetry is really focused on love. There are some poems I've written that are not about love. There are some poems that I've written about like certain people. You know, sometimes you have a conversation with someone and that person is like, wow, you're really this person, and you end up writing a poem about them and they never know it's about them because why wouldn't you tell them and stroke the ego. Yeah.
Like for somebody who doesn't know your story, though, like just judging you from what they're seeing right now, they'd feel like you were saying earlier, you haven't like gone through the darkest stuff or whatever. But when cry a lot, I'm just saying, or like reading your energy and how happy you are, how the energy that you're exuding right now, you know, it would be hard for somebody to grasp with the whole thing. I don't know. That's where I come from. Wow, and it took a lot for me to get here. Yeah. So shout out to you, bro.
Thank you.
Shout out to you. Shout out to you. How far do you see yourself going with this poetry thing?
Rudy Francisco far. That's how far I see myself going. Rudy Francisco has always been a favorite poet. Yeah, with Courtney Pepperell. Courtney Pepperell is the writer for Pillow Thoughts. I don't know if a lot of people know it, but Rudy Francisco is the goal. That's where I want to get. You know, I want to be able to have people dedicate my poems to their lovers and dedicate their poems, or send a poem to someone who's going through something and see if it comforts them. You know, that's where I want to get. I want to be in front of a crowd and have them recite my poetry with me. You know, or like somebody asked me to recite a certain poem in the crowd. Yeah.
Okay. And you have a book out, ne?
Not yet. I'm still working. I'm still in the works. I've been writing a few things, but it is going to be a book full of love poems, ironically.
Because I remember you talking about a body of work back at Unbound Live Sessions.
Yeah. The thing is, one, having a book out is finances, and I kind of don't have that right now. And also, I'm still trying to maneuver around feeling like my work is not good enough. You know, it doesn't matter how much people tell you that, oh my God, you're good, you should write a book. Sometimes it has to come from yourself. So that's what I struggle with. Sometimes I write whole books. I've had 2 books that are written and deleted. Complete books. And sometimes I look back and I'm like, you know, but you should have put that up. And I'm like, nah, it wasn't good enough. But I believe that when I find something that's good, I will put it out. But right now there's something in the works. Yeah.
You know what a wise woman once said to me? She was like, it doesn't matter, just put it out. How it is, just put it out.
I've been trying to convince myself of that. So this book would just be coming out as soon as I get the finances for the publisher and talk to them. Then
Cool. Cool. And then where do we connect with you?
You can hit me up on Instagram, Geoffrey Junior Mosarwa, on Facebook, Geoffrey Junior Mosarwa, and pretty much almost everywhere. On TikTok, it's Geoffrey Junior Mosarwa or Teddy Bear. Instagram also Teddy Bear, Teddy.bear. So hit a boy up. And email mosarwajr@gmail.com.
How come you haven't been posting more stuff on your Insta, bro?
I haven't written anything lately. On my Insta, but I do have a few poems down. Thing with my Insta is that I can only work on a limited amount of space, so it has to be like a punchline type of poem, and like it's hard to come by those ones. You know, it's one of those things where you sit with yourself and you think to yourself, okay, wow, that's really beautiful.
And also shout out to the artists that you work with. For your pieces, because it's beautiful.
Recently wrote something for Apex Postman. Recently wrote something for him. Hopefully you see it on his album if I can finish it. He loved it, but he wants me to expand on it, so to work more on it. So
okay.
I've been working with a few people though. I can't really mention them. Some of them want their like work to be like. Okay.
Alright, Geoff. Thank you so much for having this convo with us. I appreciate you, man. You know, looking forward to more of your stuff. And man, just do your thing and keep doing your thing.
Thank you.
Do you and do you best.
Yes.
That's what I like to say. Shout out to everybody who's tuning in, who's been tuned in up to this point. You're such a legend for doing that. And welcome to season 3 of Underground with the Unbounds. With that being said, it's a wrap.